Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we're kicking it off with Kailey Cornett. She's the CEO of Hope Clinic for Women. Kailey, how are you doing?
I am so excited to be on the show again with y'all.
Absolutely. So you are joining us from a conference. So you are, making this work for sure, which we appreciate, to share the good news of everything you're doing. But let's start with a little bit of history and context. Give us some history for the organization, and then we'll dive into all the good you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hope Clinic has been serving Nashville for nearly 40 years. We are a faith-based comprehensive women's clinic. So we do preventative women's health care before pregnancy. We do amazing healthcare and social services during pregnancy, and then we provide professional counseling after pregnancy.
Talk about numbers. Give us some statistics in terms of the number of women. What are some of the things that you look at when you're talking about statistics and numbers? What do those numbers look like on your end?
Absolutely. So across the services inside of our clinic, we serve about 2,100 people. And what that kind of breaks out to is we do just under 1,000 pregnancy tests a year. And these are women who find themselves in an unplanned pregnancy and they don't know where to go. We may be the first person that they're telling that they're pregnant. And so we do about 900 of those. At any given time, we're balancing about 100 to 150 moms and dads in our parenting program to equip them for a year after their pregnancy. And then we do about 500 women for our women's health care and about 150 for those counseling clients. We additionally, what I didn't mention is kind of the before, during, after, we additionally educate students in the community about consent and relationships and how to have healthy boundaries and relationships. So we do that for over 2,000 students a year. So that's outside of our clinic, but still a lot of great people.
Absolutely. And very important. Let's stay on the education thread because you mentioned working with the parents and obviously the youth. So talk about kind of that community outreach. Go ahead and dive in deeper, but also too, working with the parents and really being able to equip and empower them.
Yeah, so a huge branch of what we do is about creating an environment where people can experience abundant life. And so for our middle school and high school students, we want them to recognize their goals for their life, the values that they already have, and how to live out of that. How to live out of that, obviously, in like an intimate romantic relationship, but also with all of the other relationships. Life is relationships. And so for our middle schoolers, we talk about toxic friendships. With the whole goal of equipping them with tools, accurate information, so that then they can make decisions and even maybe pre-storm some decisions before they get to the moment, so that they already know, oh, we talked about this. I already know what I want to do here. So that's what we do for our students. And then for our adults, for our moms and dads, we want them to know that they can be great parents, but not only that, that they can experience abundance themselves. So it's important for us that, yes, we get the car seat safety, the breastfeeding classes, we do safe sleep things, but we're also doing things about soul care and Bible studies and how to have healthy boundaries with your own parents when you have a grandchild now in the world. So we really want to kind of come around them with some education that's not just a bunch of lectures. It really is a community, especially for those in our parenting program, a community that can pour into them through a very tough time of your life for anyone who's a new parent.
I think that could be a whole show in and of itself when you talk about being a new parent and all the things that you just kind of threw out there in terms of setting boundaries and sleep and pouring into your soul and making sure you take care of yourself. And so give us maybe, and obviously there's a huge bandwidth and leeway on this, but some of your favorite tips and recommendations for young parents. So go ahead and tease us a little bit with just some of those, unpacking them.
Yes, I think the most important thing for new parents is to find their people. You cannot parent on an island. And that's the biggest thing that we find with a lot of our moms. If they're a single mom, they feel isolated. The results of a positive pregnancy test can feel really isolating, but we want to encourage them that, yes, we can be a community, but we want you to find that community in your own life. Maybe that's that one aunt that's going to pour into you. Maybe that's your girlfriend. Maybe it's your church community, that you can't do this on your own. So that's a really great general broad tip. I would say there's some really good tips about caring for yourself. you can't be a good parent unless you're caring for yourselves. And I try not to generalize too much, but we as women tend to just give, 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 and give and give. And that's being a mom in a lot of ways. But finding those moments, those people that you can drop the kid off and go and take a nap and do that kind of stuff to take care of yourself so you can be better for your kids.
Go ahead and elaborate on the pregnancy resources, the support there. Go ahead and give us a little bit more of an illustration of how that plays out, impact, especially kind of the one-on-one, really wrap around and care and love and support.
Absolutely. So when someone enrolls in what we call Bridge, which is our parenting program, this is either a potential mom or a potential dad, they will get access to kind of a suite of items. The first of which I've already mentioned is those education classes. We have those both on site and online. They can watch on their phone at 2 a.m. Or they can come into our building and meet some people. So that's education classes that also get paired one-to-one with a mentor. And so this is a person in the community who's just been there before, who is maybe a few steps ahead of them. And they get to meet with them twice a month over FaceTime or for coffee, just to kind of check in and see how they're doing. There are a lot of other things also happening in your life during pregnancy. And so that's your friend that you can talk to. If there is a greater level of trauma around the pregnancy or mental health concerns, we're also going to get them free counseling. And that's with a licensed professional. Counseling is really expensive. And so we want, especially for some of our moms who have childhood trauma that they were going to work through and they want to grow out of that and not continue cycles of trauma in their life. We want to get them that counseling support. They get case management. So that's referrals to all the other amazing nonprofits in Nashville for housing and food and employment. I could list all of the amazing partners that we work with on a day-to-day basis. And then lastly, the material support. So all of those interactions get diapers, wipes, cribs, everything they could possibly need for their pregnancy and for that child's first year of life. Our moms and dads don't buy a single pack of diapers. And that's just the bare minimum. Like they're also getting the nicest strollers, the nicest car seats, because we want them to get great stuff. And we want to take that one burden off of their shoulders of knowing, how am I going to afford this?
That in and of itself is awesome. And when you think about the mentor side, I think that is extremely valuable because it can be scary in so many different ways when you're taking all the tests and they're, looking at Down syndrome and all these things. And it's like you're facing as a pregnant mother, all these variables. And then you go online and you start scaring yourself because it's like, it could be this and this and this and this. And so it's like, and it doesn't, children don't come obviously with a manual, on how to. And so having someone, like you said, who's been there, done that, who can reassure you, it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay that you don't have the answers. We'll figure this out together. You can turn to me for all of that stuff. I think is so monumentally important, mm-hmm. especially for young women who don't necessarily have that support in their immediate family. And I think when you look at the community impact, the ripple effect of what this creates, it creates stronger relationships, but ultimately stronger families that really do play an important role in community building. So talk about kind of that mentor and really from your vantage point, some of those testimonials that you're getting on how important that really is.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could add a tip to new parents, it's stop Googling. Stop scaring yourself. Talk to somebody. I'll highlight too, it's great for our moms because they're asking all those questions of like, do I have caffeine? Do I not have caffeine? All those things, which great questions also for your OB. But sometimes OBs are not as kind as maybe a girlfriend can be. But I would say it's really important for our dads. The biggest benefit that we see is that these guys that are brave enough to come in with their girlfriend or their partner or their wife and be in that room, be in that ultrasound, wait for the results of that pregnancy test. We want to honor his bravery by giving him resources because a lot of them don't know how to be a good dad. They don't have that experience of what it looks like. And so they're going into this going, I don't know what a good dad looks like. And so we want to give them at least one role model to connect with. For our mentor and mentees, we create kind of some guidelines for them to follow if they want to. But what I see more often than not is that this beautiful friendship forms, and they get to be in the room when she's delivering, and they get to throw baby showers for her and get to know her family. I It's one of those things where yes, the maximum requirement from us is that a year after birth, but I'm hoping that they're creating relationships for life that they can pour into each other, and just kind of continue to be that resource they can text or they can call, and they'll pick up. So I'll say that we've had a couple guys that really connected with their male mentors and went to like Titans games together and just got to experience life in a very different view. And obviously the cultural backgrounds are very different, and for them to get someone who looks different than them but still is for them. And I think it's also good for our mentors and mentees, or for our mentors to learn from someone's perspective and know that okay, different is just different. And they can even learn themselves. I think it's been really rewarding for the men and women that serve as our volunteer mentors.
How has the pandemic impacted what you're doing? Because you mentioned, the classes, especially being online and in person. And so now that things are getting back to a little bit more of a normal, what's been that flow on your end of kind of navigating through the pandemic and as we're coming out?
Yeah, I feel like we have to say the gratitude in things. I am grateful. We have been trying to make things hybrid at Hope Clinic for like 5 years. And the pandemic was the thing that pushed us over the hurdle. And we really wanted to make it more flexible for our moms. We want to make this program accessible. Yes, you can't do a pregnancy test online. So you got to come in for that. You got to do an ultrasound, but you can take a class online. You can meet with your mentor over a HIPAA compliant video service. So we have really found that for some of our moms who are working moms, our moms who have other kids, and it's really hard to manage schedules, that those hybrid options are just going to be the norm. They're just going to be what we're always going to offer for the rest of time. And now we have a really great, not only like technology system, but also adoption from our clients.
How has this work changed the way you look at being a wife, being a mother, kind of, like the relational side? How has this kind of changed your perspective?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I have learned so much from these moms about sacrifice. I think one of the biggest things I've noticed is for the longest time, we would not move through any of our maternity clothes in our store. We have a store of all these great baby clothes and diapers and wipes and all the stuff for her. The moms would never get. They come down and they'd be like, what can I get for my kid? What for me? And I'm trying to encourage her, like, go get this stuff that you need too. And it's just taught me so much as someone who I don't have kids yet. My husband and I, we live with another couple that does have a kid. And that has been just an amazing experience of being really involved aunts and uncles. But preparing for our own children and knowing that every journey is different and you have to give grace for yourself. I think that's really good for our moms to meet other moms and see, oh, I don't have to do it the way that I've always done it. And we have moms that are coming back second time around for kids. Their kids are 15, 16, 17, and they're like, oh, I have a baby. Then they realize, oh, I could do it differently this time. And I have the freedom to do that. And just, yeah, having that freedom to recognize that you can choose a different path.
I always think that when you're working, in this sort of work where you're touching and impacting lives, it always comes back to impact you in terms of the way you just view everything. It's always amazing to me. Yeah. Carry that forward into how we can help. So how can the community help your efforts?
Yeah, absolutely. So we obviously are a nonprofit. So we're 96% funded by donations, local donations. And so we do fundraising events throughout the year. We do clothing drives. I will say we're great on diapers. We don't need any diapers. The community has really rallied around us. But check our website for what our most needed and most pressing needs are for that maternity store. Come and connect your business with us. We would love to do a service day with your team. I am not naive to the fact that all of the places that we get support from, whether that be a local church or a local business, also has people within that community that need our services. And so we want to be really intentional to equip all of our partners to know what are our services that your staff may need access to. Maybe someone has experienced miscarriage and needs professional counseling, or maybe someone in your church is dealing with an unplanned pregnancy and wants someone to talk to. Knowing that it's a reciprocal relationship is really important for all of our partners.
Go ahead and wrap up with contact information. So website, phone number, where do we go to learn more and to reach out and get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can reach us at hopeclinicforwomen.org. Our direct line for our clinic is 615-321-0005. My name is Kailey Cornett. You can always email me. I would love to meet with you. Every month we hold an intro class via Zoom, and you can sign up for that at hopeclinicforwomen.org/intro.
Well, definitely make sure everyone check out the website, hopeclinicforwomen.org. And Kailey, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.